What's up, homies? I've got another banger for you today. Please like and subscribe, though. Every weekday morning, right at 6:58, our protagonist takes his usual train to Maibara. It's part of his daily routine, but there's one thing that always makes the journey special. He often spots a familiar face, a girl who attends a different school. Despite seeing her frequently, he knows nothing about her. The only thing he's sure of is that she always takes the same train, and she's captivated his attention from the moment he first noticed her. Today, however, is different. For the first time, she's sitting in the seat right next to him. His heart races, and he's more nervous than usual. He's spent countless mornings rehearsing possible questions to ask her, like her name or what club she's in. But his nerves have always held him back. This unspoken love story, spanning a mere 20 minutes each morning, began when he first started high school. He's not alone in this journey. Several regular passengers have picked up on his silent crush and secretly root for him to take the plunge. It all began about 4 months ago, when he realized she boarded the train at the exact same time every day. Judging by her uniform, he guessed she might be a student at Rikudu High School. An older office worker was the first to notice the boy's constant glances at the girl. Then, around 3 months ago, the girl missed the train for the first time, and the passengers saw how visibly concerned he was as he kept looking around, trying to find her. A month later, when she finally sat beside him for the first time, he was so nervous that he tried to suppress his smile to avoid coming off as strange. The trio of regular passengers, an office worker, a university student, and a manager, have become deeply invested in this budding romance. They even created a group chat to discuss their observations and theories. The manager, growing increasingly impatient, expresses frustration that the boy still hasn't confessed his feelings. The office lady defends the boy, saying the suspense adds to the charm of the situation. The university student sides with her, pointing out that confessing feelings isn't as simple as it seems. As a playful jab, he tells the manager that he'd understand the difficulty better if he confessed to the office lady right then and there. Taking the remark half seriously, the manager texts the group, admitting that he's always watching her. However, when he sees her shocked expression, he quickly clarifies that it was just a joke. Still, the office lady retorts that she might avoid taking the train the next day, while the university student chuckles, noting that an unsolicited confession from a stranger can indeed make anyone cautious. They all begin to realize that the boy might be grappling with similar fears, worried about how the girl would react. Meanwhile, the boy contemplates his dilemma. He reasons that if the girl really is a junior from Rikudu High School, she might stop taking this train after the academic year ends. If he wants to get to know her better, he has to act soon. The thought adds to his anxiety as he debates how to strike up a conversation without coming across as awkward or intrusive. The university student, eager to help in his own way, suggests in the group chat that the boy could start by exchanging numbers with the girl. His suggestion makes the office worker and manager suspicious, as they joke that he's probably an expert at using this method to flirt with girls. Oblivious to their chatter, the boy is lost in thought. He decides it would feel unnatural to suddenly approach her after months of silence, and starts brainstorming for a topic they might have in common. At the same time, the university student messages the group saying the boy needs to seize the moment and make the first move carefully. According to him, if the conversation doesn't go well, the girl might start avoiding the train altogether. Just as the boy is deep in thought, something catches his eye. He suddenly lets out a surprised yelp, startling everyone around him, including the girl. The group chat buzzes with curiosity as the manager asks what just happened. The university student quickly explains that the girl has a keychain of Shine, a character from the popular online game Ganshin. The office lady then notices that the boy also has the same keychain. While the group gets excited over this potential icebreaker, the university student points out that it might not be such a big deal, as the game is widely popular these days. Gathering all his courage, the boy finally speaks up. He apologizes for his outburst and, with a nervous stutter, asks the girl if she also plays Ganshin. But before she can respond, an older man sitting across from them unexpectedly chimes in, enthusiastically proclaiming that he too is a fan of the game. The boy's face flushes with embarrassment. The group chat is visibly annoyed by the old man's interruption. His unsolicited comment had derailed a conversation that was clearly not meant for him. Despite their collective frustration, the old man remarks that it's quite a coincidence and casually asks the boy about his rank in the game. The boy, disheartened by the misunderstanding, feels his courage slip away. To make matters worse, the old man turns his attention to the girl, asking her about the keychain on her bag. The group chat is left in stunned silence as the girl hesitantly replies that she also likes the game. She goes on to explain that she's a beginner who only started playing recently, mainly because the game has gained so much popularity. Before the boy can say a word, the old man chimes in again, reassuring the girl that her reasons for playing don't matter and that she shouldn't compare herself to others. She politely nods and adds that she loves the game's adorable character. While the group chat is exasperated by the old man's persistence, they can't help but admit that his kindness might have left a good impression on the girl. All eyes are on the boy as he finally seizes the moment to speak. Gathering his courage, he asks her if she would like to play the game with him, adding that it must be fate that they share this common interest. The group chat comes alive with excitement. The manager praises the boy for his bold move. The office lady eagerly awaits the girl's response, and the university student is optimistic that this could lead to them exchanging contact information. As the girl prepares to respond, the old man unexpectedly interjects, asking with a shy smile if the boy really wants to play the game with him instead. The entire group chat explodes in frustration. The office lady expresses her irritation at the old man's oblivious confidence, and the manager wishes he could somehow make him realize the situation he's interrupting. Completely unfazed, the old man goes ahead and shares his contact information with the boy, leaving him completely bewildered. To top it all off, the boy discovers that the old man gets off at the same station as he does. Despite the chaotic turn of events, the group chat agrees that the day has been nothing short of thrilling. The university student appreciates the boy's effort and the way he found common ground with his crush. The office lady marvels at the complexities of unspoken love, and the manager can only shake his head at the absurdity of it all. As the boy and the old man leave the train, another young girl, Himari, boards and begins chatting with the girl, Nayu. The group chat is taken aback to see that the girl has a friend, sparking a new wave of curiosity. Himari teasingly asks Nayu why she's blushing, to which Nayu confesses that she was thrilled someone wanted to talk to her and play the game with her. However, she's also deeply embarrassed by how the situation unfolded. Her admission shocks the group chat, who now wishes they could call the boy back. But by then, he is already walking home, feeling disappointed about missing his chance. 3 days pass, including the weekend, before the boy gets another opportunity to sit next to the girl. After the awkward ending to their previous interaction, he's surprised that she chose to sit beside him again. He initially assumes it's because there were no other available seats, but quickly dismisses the thought, realizing it's unlikely she'd go out of her way for mere convenience. He can't help but wonder if there's a deeper reason behind her choice. The boy wants to clear the air and confess his feelings, but he knows it's still too soon. On the other hand, Nayu is equally embarrassed about her earlier excitement, thinking he was addressing her directly. She's been looking forward to playing the game with him, but her lingering embarrassment keeps her from saying anything. Their subtle glances at each other don't escape the notice of the other passengers. The university student confidently declares that the two have a secret crush on each other, though the office lady is skeptical. She believes the girl's serious demeanor for her age makes their feelings difficult to interpret. The ongoing mystery of their situation leaves her with a headache, while the manager jokes that his blood pressure can't take much more of this. Staying calm, the university student remarks that this isn't something that can be resolved with a simple apology or explanation. The office lady agrees, pointing out that their misunderstandings only add to the complexity of their unspoken romance. When the manager asks for clarification, the office lady explains that they were mistaken in thinking the girl harbored feelings for the boy. The university student adds that she was merely embarrassed by the situation and wasn't intentionally hiding any emotions. He theorizes that the boy is likely confused about the entire interaction, as moments like these tend to leave lasting impressions on people. The group begins to worry about the boy's next move. If he decides to confess his feelings too soon, they fear the girl might reject him outright, leaving him heartbroken. For now, they can only watch and hope that these two hesitant hearts find a way to connect. The manager remains determined, convinced that the boy and the girl are a perfect match. The office lady shares his sentiment, believing there must be a reason why the girl always chooses to sit next to him. She hopes the boy will start paying attention to the signs. Apologizing for his earlier obliviousness, the university student quips that he hadn't realized sitting next to someone on the train could signify affection. His remark makes both the manager and the office lady blush. The manager quickly clarifies that he has a family at home, while the office lady insists her observations are entirely unintentional. Returning to the ongoing love story, the office lady admits she's beginning to worry. She suspects the boy might have misinterpreted their last interaction. Meanwhile, the university student prefers to believe that both harbor secret feelings for each other, but a third party inadvertently created distance between them. At this point, the manager's patience begins to wear thin, but the others ignore his growing frustration. The office lady remarks that love often thrives on misunderstandings, though she admits she might be wrong. Her comment puzzles the manager, but the university student agrees, pointing out that while the boy's emotions are easy to read, the girl's feelings remain elusive. Sensing their shared concern, the manager boldly declares that he will find a way to resolve the issue. Meanwhile, the boy is lost in self-criticism, berating himself for his lack of courage. Despite their shared interest and the momentary excitement he saw in her earlier, he worries she might still view him as just another odd passenger. He wishes he were as suave as Saito from the soccer team, someone who could easily charm others. If only he had funny stories to share or knew how to lighten the mood, perhaps he'd feel more confident. But instead, he feels trapped, lamenting his own fear and indecision. His thoughts spiral, making him feel even more powerless to change the situation. The silence in the group chat is broken when the university student urgently points something out. He directs the office lady's attention to the girl's reflection in the train window, where it appears she's holding a note tucked inside her book. Intrigued, the boy notices it too, and is stunned to read what's written. A message seemingly declaring that she likes him. His heart races as he processes this revelation. But before he can act, the manager bursts his bubble. Holding up a copy of the same book, the manager reveals that the phrase the boy saw is simply the book's title. Annoyed, the manager vents his frustrations in the group chat, confessing that he's also been reading the love novel and finds the situation utterly exasperating. The office lady, clearly fed up, exclaims, "Why are you so desperate for love?" At the same time, the boy feels a mix of relief and embarrassment for nearly jumping to the wrong conclusion. The university student points out that just because someone reads a love story doesn't mean they're experiencing it themselves. The boy takes a deep breath, reminding himself that the girl is just another student who happens to ride the same train. If he wants to make any progress, he needs to step out of his daydreams and muster the courage to talk to her. Across from him, Nayu steals a sideways glance, disappointed to see him looking away. When she arrives at school later that day, her friend Himari scolds her for reading while walking, and then inquires about the novel she's carrying. Nayu explains that it's a love story about a boy and a girl who take the same train to school every day. She shyly admits that while it might not mean much to the boy in the story, it feels incredibly special to her. She wishes she could thank him for making her days brighter, even without exchanging words. Himari raises an eyebrow, noting how Nayu's description sounds personal. Embarrassed, Nayu insists that she was talking about the novel's characters. Her friends remain suspicious, but Nayu stands her ground, explaining that the events she described happened in the book. Unlike fictional stories, she claims, she's the one most emotionally invested in this narrative, even as her friends exchange knowing looks. Meanwhile, the three passengers regroup after disembarking from the train, eager to discuss whether the girl might also have feelings for the boy and is simply waiting for him to make the first move. Late at night, Hikochi, our MC, lies awake, disappointed with himself for forgetting his English homework. The thought of failing the subject worries him, but no matter how tired he feels, he resolves to stay up all night if necessary and still catch the train the next morning. Missing his chance to see the girl isn't an option. The next day on the train, the three passengers are stunned as they witness Nayu sitting motionless, while Hikochi peacefully sleeps on her shoulder. When Hikochi stirs and opens his eyes slightly, he's horrified to realize the situation and quickly pulls away, stammering an apology. In a soft whisper, Nayu reassures him that it's not a problem. Despite her words, Hikochi's mind races with embarrassment, hoping desperately that he didn't drool on her. Both of their hearts pound while the three passengers look on, completely bewildered. Breaking the silence, the office lady comments in disbelief about how young people these days can casually find themselves in such situations. She jokes that all she's ever done is nudge the old man sitting next to her. The manager shares that the whole thing feels odd, but the university student dismisses their remarks, arguing that they shouldn't compare commuter trains with this youthful budding romance. Hikochi, still reeling from his embarrassment, vows to stay awake for the rest of the journey. He's determined not to fall asleep and risk leaning on Nayu again, fearing she might choose not to sit beside him in the future. However, despite his efforts to stay alert, his exhaustion gets the better of him. He keeps swaying in his seat, battling against his sleepiness. The passengers, fully invested in the situation, eagerly watch to see if he will give in and lean against her once more. Just as his head begins to dip, the train's announcement for the next station jolts him awake. Relieved that his stop is still far away, Hikochi is frustrated to realize he'd zoned out again. He reassures himself that at least he hadn't leaned on Nayu this time. Still, he finds it nearly impossible to resist the soothing rhythm of the train and its perfect temperature, both of which pull him back towards sleep. Realizing he can't keep fighting it, Hikochi decides to sleep leaning against the window instead, ensuring he's far from Nayu. The passengers, however, are utterly disappointed by his solution. The manager grumbles, annoyed that Hikochi is being overly cautious and gentlemanly. The office lady agrees, criticizing him for focusing too much on manners. The university student, on the other hand, finds beauty in Hikochi's restraint, though the office lady nearly shouts that true charm lies in the innocent awkwardness of boys and girls getting closer. Her animated response amuses the university student, who advises her to stay calm. He reassures them that even if Hikochi is leaning against the window now, they simply have to wait for the right moment. Seeing their confusion, he explains that after the upcoming tunnel, there's a sharp curve in the tracks that will naturally cause the boy to sway toward the girl due to the train's motion. Excitement builds among the trio as they anticipate the moment. The manager and office lady are thrilled by the prospect of Hikochi inadvertently leaning on Nayu again, while the university student smugly predicts the inevitable result of inertia. As the train nears the curve, Hikochi begins to sway slightly toward Nayu, his head tilting ever so closer to her. The passengers are on edge, holding their breath as they watch the scene unfold. Nayu, too, is visibly nervous, her heart racing as she notices Hikochi moving toward her. Just as the contact seems inevitable, the train's sharp motion causes everyone else to sway violently. The passengers struggle to maintain their balance, fumbling with their phones in the group chat. In her panic, the office lady accidentally elbows the manager's neck, pushing him awkwardly against the window. Meanwhile, the boy's head brushes against Nayu's shoulder, prompting him to wake abruptly and apologize profusely once again. Nayu, blushing but composed, reassures him with a quiet response, while the office lady lets out a frustrated sigh, disappointed to have missed the exact moment of contact. The university student, noticing the chaos, points out that the office lady is practically choking the manager, who slumped against the opposite window and barely managing to recover. Meanwhile, the boy is now fully awake and realizes that he has done the same thing again, fallen asleep and leaned on the girl. Although they're sitting next to each other, he has no memory of what happened while he was asleep, and he's convinced that she must hate him for it. His mind spirals with worry, wondering what he'll do if she decides to change her seat tomorrow. Before he can dwell on it any further, the girl lightly taps his shoulder and tells him that they've reached his station. Startled but quickly recovering, he thanks her sincerely and says that he'll get off now. As he steps toward the door, she calls out to him again, but an announcement about the doors closing drowns out her voice. He exits the train, still trying to process the fact that she actually spoke to him. Although it shouldn't feel unusual, considering they ride the same train every day, it feels monumental to him. On the other hand, Nayu worries that Hikochi might think she's a creep for noticing him and knowing which station he gets off at. Meanwhile, Hikochi is overjoyed to discover that she's aware of his routine. The three gossiping passengers are equally thrilled, delighted to see that the girl is paying attention to the boy. In her excitement, the office lady asks if anyone recorded the interaction, only to be reminded by the university student that filming other passengers isn't allowed. On another morning, Hikochi reads his daily horoscope and finds out that cancers have a chance to get closer to the person sitting beside them. This prediction leaves him both nervous and hopeful. He wonders if it might apply to him, even though he knows plenty of people share the same star sign. Despite his doubts, he senses something different about today, and the other passengers on the train seem to feel it too. Taking his usual seat, Hikochi resolves to apologize to the girl for yesterday if she sits beside him. He reassures himself that it won't be awkward and tries to calm his nerves. However, as the train moves forward, the horoscope keeps swirling in his mind, making him increasingly anxious. The train seems to be moving faster than usual, and Hikochi can't shake the odd feeling in his chest. Despite his nervousness, he finds himself filled with a surprising sense of courage. When he notices someone sitting down beside him, he musters his bravery and turns to speak, saying he wants to talk about yesterday. To his shock, it's not the girl sitting next to him, but the old man from the other day. Hikochi's face falls, unable to hide his disappointment. The three gossipers closely observe his reaction, and the manager remarks on how sad Hikochi looks to see the old man instead of the girl. They jokingly call the old man a third wheel in this budding romance, but they also note that he's just an ordinary guy who happens to share their love for the popular game Ganshin. Hikochi snaps out of his surprise when the old man starts a conversation, mentioning that he's also a Cancer and read the same horoscope that morning. The group chat explodes with mixed reactions. The office lady is annoyed, insisting that the old man can't possibly be the person the horoscope referred to, and she's furious that he's ruining Hikochi's chance to talk to the girl. The manager, however, defends the old man, arguing that he hasn't done anything wrong. The university student sides with the manager, but admits he's curious to see how Hikochi will handle the situation. Their attention shifts when they notice Nayu standing in the corner, her face bright red from blushing. Her nervous hesitation sparks even more curiosity among the passengers, who wonder what might have happened the day before. The office lady speculates that there couldn't have been a fight, as the girl is still standing close to Hikochi. Instead of responding to her theory, the university student remarks on how the situation has grown more complicated. Now, Hikochi can't risk being disrespectful to the old man, especially since Nayu can overhear their conversation. Despite the awkwardness, the boy and the old man end up having a pleasant chat about their shared love for Ganshin. The office lady finds the interaction endearing, but the university student is less enthusiastic. He worries that if their conversation flows too well, Nayu might assume they're close friends and give up her seat permanently to the old man. This, he predicts, could mean the old man will always sit beside Hikochi from now on. Hearing this prediction, the office lady grows visibly concerned, lamenting that their source of morning entertainment might come to an end. The university student points out that Hikochi is likely still very nervous, trying to make sense of the situation and figure out his next move. Meanwhile, the old man enthusiastically asks Hikochi if he's played through the ending of the second act in the recent time-limited event for their favorite game. Hikochi's eyes light up, and he eagerly joins the discussion. The group chat, however, is not pleased to see how comfortably the two are bonding. Just then, the office lady notices that Nayu is trembling slightly. At the same time, Nayu internally battles her nerves, wanting desperately to apologize to Hikochi and join the conversation about the game, but she can't summon the courage to speak up. Observing her, the university student becomes convinced that her shaking stems from the fear of losing her seat to the old man. Oblivious to the tension around him, Hikochi is entirely immersed in the conversation. The old man comments on how rare it is to meet someone who likes the same character, and Hikochi, smiling brightly, replies that it's his first time having such a conversation. He remarks that it almost feels like confessing his feelings. The university student, however, disagrees, while the office lady argues that this exchange might as well be a confession. She begins to worry about how the ongoing passionate discussion might affect the girl. Nayu, watching them, is overwhelmed by her desire to join the conversation, while the group chat speculates that she must be upset by Hikochi's focus on the game. The manager, visibly annoyed, laments Hikochi's poor timing, though Hikochi remains blissfully unaware of everyone's emotions. He simply praises how amazing the character Shion is, sparking a response from the old man, who wholeheartedly agrees, saying this is the Shion fans had always hoped for. Hikochi's face lights up again as he listens, while Nayu silently steals glances at him, imagining how wonderful it must feel to share your passions with someone you care about. She reflects that even if she attended the same school as Hikochi, she probably wouldn't have the courage to approach him, and she wishes she could talk to him so naturally every morning. Then, the old man surprises everyone by suggesting that he and Hikochi should play the game together while on the train. He goes a step further, asking Hikochi if he always takes the same train, as he'd like to align their schedules. The group chat collectively holds its breath, worried about Hikochi's response. The manager frets that if Hikochi agrees, the old man might end up monopolizing the seat beside him, effectively ending this budding love story. The office lady grows visibly tense, fearing that their source of morning entertainment might come to a premature close. As Hikochi begins to respond, Nayu suddenly turns around, almost shouting for him to wait. Her unexpected reaction startles everyone, including Hikochi, who is surprised to see her looking directly at him. That's it for today, homies. Thank you for watching, and let me know your thoughts in the comments.